Michelle, are you ready?
I was born ready.
She's an award-winning author, speaker, and podcast host who serves on the National Faith Advisory Council. She supported Donald J. Trump for president before it was cool, from her she shed in her beautiful backyard. This is the Michelle Moore Show.
I'm not in a rush, I'm setting my own pace. There's a fire in my soul more than just a flame. Was a slave to my mind, now I feel unchained. Now it's easier to get up every time I fall. All this love I possess, man, it conquers all. I know he got me through all of the highs and lows. Every path, every turn, every single road. I know that he there when I feel alone. Feel like I can't fail, I'll achieve my goals. There ain't a struggle I can't overcome. Even if you hate me, I still show you love. Was so anxious, confused, I was so depressed. Every breath, every step, now I feel so blessed. There's been a fire burning in my soul. It's taking full control. I'll never let it go. Cause life can be hard when you feel like you're all alone. Nobody there to hold, nobody there to know ya. God lifted me out the darkest place. I worked so hard to beat the demons I faced. Circle getting smaller every single year. If I cut off one my friend, it might disappear. Every single day I would go and chase my vice. Now I know why God didn't take my life. Cause I got a bigger purpose and now it's clear exactly the reason for why I'm here. Letting go of the habits that hold me back. For my kids and my wife, now I'm right on track. I had to leave a couple people in the past who couldn't grow with me, but I'm not sad. Satan been whispering in pretty lies. I never stay down, when I fall I rise. A father, a husband, a son, and a man. All I had to do was just trust in his plan. Lately there's been a fire burning in my soul. It's taking full control. I'll never let it go. Cause life can be hard when you feel like you're all alone. Nobody there to hold, nobody there to know ya. This lonely road has been so long. I forgot the feeling of love. But I'm changing now. Finally see that I'm blessed. The pain I had erased all the good. But now I'm coming back. Lately there's been a fire burning in my soul. It's taking full control. I'll never let it go. Cause life can be hard when you feel like you're all alone. Nobody there to hold, nobody there to know ya, know ya.
Hi, everybody. So glad that you're with us today. That was High Res the rapper. So he's been posting that video. Oh, gosh. I think today's like the 11th or 12th day. He says he's going to post it every day until it goes viral. So I said, hey, I'll do my part and help you out a little bit. We'll start it out with the show today. We're back. Happy 2026. So glad to be back with you guys. I missed you. You know I would. I was going to miss y'all. I knew it before, and sure enough, it happened. I missed you, but we're back. We're back. Okay, so wow, so much seems like it's been going on. Like there was some Epstein stuff released and just so much. Christ Believer says Michelle has a birthday this month. That's right, at the end of the month, the very end. Oh, okay. So Joe Franwood says, glad you're back, Michelle. Missed you much. I missed you guys. Okay. So let's go on ahead and get into it. I got a lot for us to cover today. I want to let you know, gosh, we've had so much going on. So silver, we are going to be covering that, but it's going to be tomorrow. We're going to have Mike Fulgens on. He's traveling today. But Mike is going to come on and we're going to talk about what's going on with the silver. You can't not talk about it. I've been talking about silver, gosh, for a couple of years now, saying that really Mike says, yes, silver's a great investment, but he's been saying gold also. And I've said, yes, gold's certainly a great investment. The problem with gold, though, is not everybody can afford to get in that game, so to speak. I've always said that the silver thing, to me, it's so suppressed. It's in our electronics. It's everywhere, right? And so to me, it just seemed like it was just a matter of time. And so my family and I have all been investing in silver for quite a few years now. I absolutely knew and believe that it's going to go up. Obviously, right now, last I've seen, it's like $77 and something. It was earlier, a few hours ago. So it's already up over $5 today. But there's a lot that's going on with the silver stuff. So we're going to talk with Mike, see what he knows, see what he says. But the thing I loved about the silver was that it just had so much room to go up, but it was also starting at a place where $23, $24 an ounce. Well, anybody can do that, maybe 1 ounce a month, and so, or something, as opposed to with gold, there's just no way. So I wanted to make sure that people really understood about the silver, and I'm very happy to see what's going on. Obviously, many people, friends of mine, my family, myself, we've tripled our money just in the last few weeks. And so this has been great. So it's going to be interesting to see. Okay. WR Carr says, missed you, but the documentaries were so good. Yes. That's producer Ron. He does a great job, really great job. Y'all know that story, right? So, the documentaries and educational videos are an act of obedience for us. It's been 3 years now since the Holy Spirit showed me, just a little over 3 years. It was about the third week of December, showed me 5 weeks after we started the show. So we had started mid-November, and this was like the third week of December. I come in the she shed, and I'm like, Ron, I heard the Holy Spirit. And so I went through this whole thing about the documentaries and the educational videos. And a lot of this has to do with when you see something, not only educating you, but then also if you're telling somebody about it, you're able, when they say, hey, can you send me that video? You're able to go, I know exactly where I saw it. Michelle Moore's Rumble channel, Michelle Moore's BitChute channel, whatever. And so I got you. I can send you the link. It's in a way that I can send it. And so we take care of that for you. And it is a lot of work. I was explaining to a friend on Saturday how much work goes into that. And just thank you, producer Ron. I tell y'all, we got the best producer, right? And so that's one of the many things that he takes care of for us. And so, okay. Did you know Godly Granny's got a sale? Love your lips. And so 26% off of the lip products. So lip scrubs, lip masks, and the lip butter balms. So just wanted to make sure you know about that. Use lips26. It's actually, I don't even think you have to use the code. The way that producer Ron has it set up, I think it just automatically gives you that. So you can use your regular code for all the other stuff. And so it's good. You get to do both. 26% for 2026. I love it. Also, mark your calendars just in case you didn't get this weekend's, I guess it was Saturday morning at 10, we sent out this month's e-newsletter. And so if you missed it, it was in there. But want to make sure you know that Michelle Aganza, for my birthday, we do this. So Michelle Aganza is Friday, January the 30th. My birthday's the 31st, but so we're doing it the day before because my birthday lands on a Saturday this month, which makes sense because I think last month it was a Friday, so that makes sense. I'm turning 53. That's just, I'm not even old enough for that. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, so, okay. All right, let's look at a couple of viewer comments. I love these. I always love the viewer comments on the videos and stuff. So Grace the Dawn says a week ago, she says, I've been watching podcasts for 10 years now. I realized that they were just patriots and keeping the circus going. I prayed and prayed for God to show me the way to truth. Somehow I was led to your interview with Dee Quigley. And she said, goes on to say, I spent days watching everything I could find. I have been watching 3 of your videos a day. You are a true truther. God bless you. And I just said, welcome, honey. So that's so sweet. Thank you so much, Grace the Dawn. And then Sarah Lynn says, First Baptist Weaverville Food and Supplies Pantry working through Jenica Grooms is so extremely grateful for all the food and supplies that you have sent during this past year. It made a huge difference in the number of people that we could serve here in Western North Carolina. Although we understand the need to move in new directions, please know how very much this support will be missed. May God's richest blessings come your way in the new year. Yeah. Over the break, I got a lot. I'm glad that I don't even know that I realized that was in the viewer comments today. I think I might have sent some of the wrong stuff to producer Ron. But anyway, but it's all good because that works out great. Because I just remembered I had wanted to share that over the break, I got a number of videos, direct messages through social media, emails, tagged in a number of things that have to do with North Carolina, just people thanking me and our wonderful viewers. Not only do I have the best producer, but I also have the best viewers. And I can prove it. Just look at North Carolina, what we did there. I don't know. I could just prove it. I realized that a couple of days ago. I was like, well, now I got the proof. And so, yeah, it was really sweet. And so we'll probably pull a few of those videos and some of those comments and stuff. So that way you can see what people are saying and how what we did is still being talked about and helping people. That food is still getting, passed out and is in the neighborhood food pantries and stuff where people are really still struggling. There are people that are living in their cars still. There's just all different kinds of stuff going on. And so I was surprised at how much I really received in the month of December, just about all of that initiative that we put so much work into for a year. And so I just want to tell you thank you, but I just wanted to share that with you because, that's you guys. And y'all need to know that I'm hearing all of that. It's just amazing. During the break, like I mentioned, there was the whole Epstein files release. And in those releases, there was a testimony. It doesn't tell you whose testimony it is. But I interviewed Hope Beryl Green 2 different times. No, just here on the show. She also spoke at 2 of my Truther events. I have gotten to know her personally. She doesn't live very far from me. We have some mutual friends, and that's how I initially met her at a Christian women in media event. And it's just kind of been after that. We've just really kind of, kept in touch. I've continued to support her, have her on, help her to share her story. And lo and behold, unbeknownst to her testimony was in those documents that were released last month in December. So I called and spoke with Hope, and Hope is going to be here on Friday. We're going to talk about her testimony. We're going to talk about how she found out that some of her testimony was released and is now public record. She's had some big setbacks. We're going to talk to her about that. She's got a second book coming out. I read her first book. It was amazing. And so she's just an amazing woman. And for those of you that aren't familiar with her or haven't heard her story, you'll get to hear it on Friday. And I'm very excited that we've got her confirmed for Friday as well. So excited about that. Okay, so let's go on ahead. So spoke with Mark Taylor a few days ago, and we stay in touch all the time anyways. And Mark has his hands full. I've asked you to keep him in your prayers. Mark is maybe going to be back Monday of next week. He said he needed another week, but we'll just kind of see with the family situation, just in case you're watching and you don't know. Mark's father is very sick, has got a cancer diagnosis, and Mark is trying to help to take care of his father. His father does not live real close to him, so it's hours on the road back and forth. And so anytime he has to go and help his father. So keep Mark Taylor in your prayers, please, and his family, his sister, and just his whole family. Mark's got a lot on him. So wanted to give you an update about Mark and his family. I know many of you have been praying for him, and I just ask that you continue to pray for him and his family. Okay, have you seen the Venezuelan national bird? I don't know. He kind of looks like somebody we might all know. I'm not sure. I thought this was cute. It was a great way to be able to kind of get into this. So obviously we all know what's happened with Venezuela. We all woke up Saturday morning to the news. I had actually had a source who kept telling me, we're going to go to war with Venezuela. We're getting ready to go to war with Venezuela. And I'm like, okay. And we kept hearing some things about some ships and this and that. And it was like, okay, I'm not really sure. And then we wake up and sure enough, we're going to war with Venezuela. So some people say it's because of the drugs. Some people say it's because of the oil. Some people say it's because of silver. It has to do with silver. And some people say they think it has to do with the 2020 election. And of course, like everything else, you got people that go, hey, it has everything to do with Israel. And so I'm like, oh my word. So I would be interested, for those of you watching live, to put in the chat, especially in our chat that the Michelle family's in every day on YouTube or Rumble. I would love to hear what you think is going on. And producer Ron is going to feed some of those comments over so we can cover those in a few minutes. But what do you think is going on with the whole Venezuela thing? I have my own opinion, and we will cover that in just a second. But one of the things that I said was also election cheating for 2020. I think, obviously, I've watched some documentaries. I've watched different people that are whistleblowers say, hey, look, it's, this has been going. Look, 2020 was not the first time somebody cheated. In fact, I watched a whole thing about a guy saying that you remember the whole hanging chads? And so when Bush and Gore, that whole election, and we had the hanging chads and we didn't know who won and all that was all scripted and it was all intentional so that the American people would be primed and ready to get behind voting machines. It was all a script. It was all planned. So, I mean, I don't know that everybody realizes how rampant it's been. And then what's shocked me is I have literally seen some people who have been saying that they don't think that there was really election cheating in 2020. So I don't know how anybody gets to that point, especially with the videos that we've seen of the whistleblowers, what happened in Atlanta. Like, come on. I don't understand how anybody could think that there really was no cheating in 2020. That blows my mind. I don't know. I don't know. Don't even see how that's the case. Okay, so Barbie Blue 22 says election fraud and drugs. Yeah, the drugs is, I think, part of it potentially. Now, some people are saying that it also somehow connects with, of course, the oil. And he wants to, Trump's trying to run the oil because China's been one of the ones being able to get the oil and all this stuff. I don't really know how much that is in the play of all of this, but I do believe that the election stuff has got to be handled. And there is no way that we're going to get this far and election fraud not be handled and it not come out. So I think this is what it's really all about. And so is the election fraud. It could maybe be fixed so that he can give all info about voting and the government people involved. Yeah, I think it's about drugs and the election fraud. No nonsense. Netta says President Trump and Venezuela's bird have the same hairdresser. I know, right? And so clearly, that's why I thought that was a riot. I had to show it to you. It was just too funny. Okay, so that's interesting. I was wondering what everybody else was thinking. I think first and foremost, it has to do with the election fraud. And so hands down, personally, that's what I think, because the fraud 2020 has to be fixed, has to be. And so otherwise something else is going on. It's just that simple. Something else is going on and we're all in big trouble if this doesn't get resolved. And so Venezuela has been fixing elections in 72 nations for 20 years. It's more than 20. This is what is going to prove our 2020 elections. That's right. Grace the Dawn. That's right. I'm with you. I think so. So that's good. I was wondering how many people think this is over oil or it has to do with silver somehow. I don't think so. I don't think this has anything to do necessarily with, I don't know, Israel, unless something with Maduro. I came across something about that where he's apparently really Catholic and he's changed over to his allegiance being with Israel. I don't know anything about all that. All I know is that he's been helping to rig elections, and that's got to stop. And it's not just been the United States. So I don't think that we're at war with Venezuela. I believe Maduro wanted rescued in return for information. That could be good. Yeah. There could be something going on with that. Who knows? You never know, right? And there's so much of those kind of details that I don't even get into and I don't worry about because so many times, like you all have heard me say, this side of heaven, we're never going to know so many things. So I don't really get kind of caught up in the weeds of it. But when we're talking about the different categories, I think we're getting ready to find out on for those with cognitive dissonance, we have to remember those people. And so for the ones in the back, we got to help them, and wake up and figure out, what's really going on. So we'll see. Okay, so let's keep going. I'm seeing all the comments and stuff. Whew, lots of stuff happened in the last couple of weeks that I wanted to make sure that we covered. So, and we have some breaking news that I want to cover as well. We have a video about election cheating. That's why I'm like, how can anybody say there's no cheating? That happened in 2020. If we were just talking about 2020, like how can somebody say that? I don't understand. And there were videos everywhere. It was so rampant. So it just blows my mind. And we know that it's been taking place for much longer than that. So let's take a look at this video that's on election cheating. Let's listen.
To vote?
Well, it depends upon what state you're in, if it's a photo ID or not, if you have an affidavit. Maria, for years, I've covered and investigated voter and election fraud cases here at Fox News, and you won't believe what we found. Take a look at this. These are absentee ballots that were faked. Prosecutors in Troy, New York, said politicians simply stole elections by handing in fraudulent ballots that they filled out as real votes. The unsuspecting voters we talked to said they did not even know their votes were robbed. So you didn't write that?
I did not.
You didn't cast a ballot?
I did not.
Did you vote?
No.
Did you fill out an absentee ballot?
Nope.
Did you fill out an absentee ballot application?
Nope, I didn't fill out any of those.
So your vote was a fraud?
It was.
In Kentucky, prosecutors said 20 public officials stole elections by buying votes, spending $400,000 to buy 8,000 votes over several elections. You sold your vote?
Mm-hmm.
How much did you sell your vote for?
$25.
Well, in Cincinnati, veteran poll worker Hillary Richardson was charged with voting in the 2008 and 2012 presidential election not once, but 2 and 3 times. She pled no contest to 4 counts, including voting for her sister, who had been in a coma for a decade. In Pennsylvania, 7 election officials have been hit with election fraud charges, deaths in the last year and a half, from cases of illegal voting to tampering with voting machines and adding phony votes. A 2012 report by a Philadelphia Republican city commissioner found voting by non-registered individuals, voting divisions with more votes than voters, individuals voting more than once, and voting by non-U.S. citizens. And election fraud actually hit the race for the White House in the 2008 race. Democratic operatives in Indiana were convicted of faking signatures on the presidential petitions that put then Senator Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton on the ballot. So many signatures were phony that authorities said the president may not have actually had enough signatures to qualify for the primary ballot. Is that your signature on this?
That's not my signature.
Did you sign this petition for Barack Obama?
No.
You did not?
No.
I did not sign for Barack Obama.
So someone forged this?
That's correct.
Well, so this is how it worked in Indiana. It is unbelievable. You need 500 signatures from each congressional district in Indiana. In South Bend, President Obama qualified with 534 signatures. But prosecutors said 100 to 200 signatures were faked. So that brings the Obama number down below the legal number that he needed to qualify. The prosecutor told me, had this been caught at the time, Maria, the president probably would not have qualified for the ballot and would have been bounced from that primary ballot. But all this fraud wasn't caught until 3 years after the election.
This is unbelievable.
Okay. Now, there are so many videos, and I have a bunch of them. I was watching them back then, and then now some of them are starting to kind of surface. And so it's great to see them resurfacing. We'll probably be sharing some more of those soon, but I wanted you to see this one. There's just no way there was no cheating. Now, I want to read a couple of comments that some of the viewers have put in the live chat, just because when people watch this later, they're not going to be able to see the live chat. So it's important that I read some of these comments. Now, look, I brought this up and I asked for comments. I asked for people to share their thoughts, what their suspicions are. And so I want to read that because everybody, through us talking about it, we learn from each other, from one another. I've already seen someone on YouTube say, wow, didn't think anything about election fraud, that this could even have anything to do with the election. So see, we can't assume that all of us see all the same things. And so that's why I wanted to go back. Even Sidney Powell, she's talked about Venezuela on TV and talking back when the 2020 election stuff was going on. So she's not somebody that I necessarily pay much attention to just because of her connections with Flynn and all of that. Looks so shady to me. So I stay away from anybody that kind of really gets into all of the Flynn stuff. But just because, I just don't think that they're who they typically claim to be, or that's what I was talking about a month ago about false light. You will get people that will act as though they're for Trump and they're really not. And so just saying. Okay, no nonsense. Netta says, I don't think that we're at war with Venezuela. I believe Maduro wanted rescued in return for info. So we're talking about that. I think that's good. Okay. So someone on YouTube, I think, also saying something along that same vein. Geek Gal says drugs, oil, election fraud, and probably a lot more. Is Cuba and or Colombia next? Bomb says, let's see here. This will cut off oil to Cuba, China, etc. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Oh, because I think it's my understanding that they weren't selling it with our petrodollar, but put a pin on that one because we're fixing to talk about that in a second. So Denise says, I would love to think that it's about those taking bribes and the election, but my gut says Israel. So there you go. There's another Israel. Some people think it somehow connects to Israel. I wanted to read that. I want to be completely fair. I don't know. Again, none of us really know for sure. I strongly suspect it's going to be the election fraud first and foremost. But like I read a minute ago, I think there are probably countless reasons why. And so who knows? Pamela Davis Reeves says all of our many Venezuelan neighbors here in Miami are celebrating. That's good to hear. I thank you for sharing that. Jay Gardner or Garden R says, you can't tell the people, you have to show them. This arrest leads to cheating on the election. Is this the first arrest? Would this have been the first arrest to show, who knows about the whole Q stuff and everything, but, they say, well, the first arrest will show what kind of direction everything's going in. Is this considered the first arrest? Is this going to show us I don't know. I have no idea, but I just thought it was interesting. Maybe we had the first arrest a long time ago and we're just not counting it. Who knows? KM Sunshine says that Trump was asked why he didn't go through Congress on the capture of Maduro. He said that he wanted to avoid leaks. What does that say about our Congress? Well, we got a lot of people that are on the payroll that have been getting bribes allegedly from Venezuela. So I think we'll be finding out some more stuff on that too. It'll be very interesting to see how much comes out, but who's going to really wake up? That's the thing. A lot of this information's coming out, but have you noticed, so many of us have friends, family, neighbors, coworkers, they are completely oblivious. They don't know. They're still getting their flu shots in this, for free at Walgreens. Are they going to really know? Are they watching? Are they paying attention? That's where I get concerned are they even following this? Are they even going to wake up? And so there are so many that are completely oblivious. Now, I know many of you just got with family and different people over the holidays in the last couple of weeks. You know what I'm talking about, right? I got people in my family like this, where they are completely out there. I just spent the day on Friday with two young 20-somethings, and they are sponges. They're asking me a million questions, and I loved it because they're so what about this? Or I heard that, or I saw a video on this, or I was watching your show and you said such and so. What does that mean? And so I love it because they're sponges. They don't really know. I'm like, well, you know about such and so, right? And they're like, no, what? And so it's so good. But yeah, we all got somebody that's different than your 50, 60, 70-year-olds who are completely in la-la land with TDS. And so, and like I said, getting the free flu shot every, November. And so at Walgreens, it's just oh my word. Okay, so Bomb says, didn't Venezuela pay for the voting programs and machines? Yeah, they're connected very heavily. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see what all comes out. And then also, who all are they paying and what all's going on with that? Grammy says, the elections in my hometown, Manassas, Virginia, have been stolen for years. I openly pray for our mayor and our city council members in my public comment time at every meeting. Their faces are priceless. Okay, Grammy, this is what you got to do. The next time you go and do that, okay, you take your spouse or friend, you're going to take somebody and get them to videotape you and the members, and then send it to me and we'll play it. I bet that is priceless. Please, that would be a classic. Okay, we got to do it. Diana 5 says all pharmacies are given, the V word, the shots. Yeah. How is that even legal? That's what drives me just, don't even get me started. Okay, BP Me says, I received at least 3 mail-in ballots in 2020. Yeah. Oh, I mean, that whole thing about like what you saw in the video where people voted but didn't know they voted. And then they found out like, oh, wait a minute, somebody cast a vote for Obama. I didn't sign this petition for Obama. I didn't cast a vote for Obama. I didn't do this for Obama. And then they find out. Or what about the guy that says he sold his vote for $25? What? I mean, I don't know. This is just crazy. Tad Gray and one says, I celebrated New Year's Eve with friends of all ages. The young ones that are 20 to 24 were wide awake and aware of everything. This gave me so much hope. Now, see, that's good for me to hear because anybody around me, they're awake because that's in that age group because they're friends with my kids and my kids are definitely aware of what's going on. And so, they are telling, they've been, waking up their own friends for the last 5 and 6 years. And so, yeah, boy, could I tell you some stories on that. But anyways, I love it. RPM 7770 says, having an open mind is key. That's right. I think so. And Blue-Eyed Bandit 17 says all roads are going to lead to Israel. Yeah, I mean, maybe there's something we don't see coming. I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't some kind of a shocker anyways, that has to do with Israel in that way. But yeah, ultimately, yes. Grammy says, I've already taped it. I will send it to you. Good. Let's see it. Oh, this is perfect. Of course, Grammy did. That's perfect. Yeah. And so you'll have to, when you send it, let me know if it's okay to show it on the air, because I definitely want to show it. All right. We'll keep going. I have got so much to cover. So let's keep going. Did you know there's some breaking news today with President Trump? Let's take a look. He's talking about our financial system, and he's saying it's out of date. Let's take a listen. This is
many Americans are unaware that behind the scenes, the technical backbone of the financial system is decades out of date, many, many years out of date. You know that. Paul and others are straightening it out, but payments and money transfers are costly and take days or even weeks to clear. Under this bill, the entire ancient system will be eligible for a 21st century upgrade using the state-of-the-art crypto technology. Who would have thought we would have been saying that 2 years after?
I always go back to 2020. You could probably Google it. I'm sure you can probably find it. Probably have it on my phone somewhere if I went back. But Melania Trump, where she wore the dress, which the dresses are always the comms, so many times. And so there's the dress and she's got the chains. So it's blockchain, and I always think about that. So I knew there's going to be something to blockchain for sure. And of course, that's just a confirmation. Did you see her dress when they came out on New Year's Eve? Did you see that where I should have pulled that video for you, but producer Ron, I'm sure you could find it. Will you look for that? So it was just New Year's Eve. They come out, her and President Trump. They come out, she's in this silver gown, silver dress. It's not really a gown, it's a dress. And then they've got the theme song to the Lone Ranger, which, what was the Lone Ranger's horse's name? Silver. And also I saw a video, I think was taken yesterday, and Trump was wearing the gold tie. And so we're talking about the gold and silver stuff. I think it's all very interesting. I think tons of comms and stuff that's going on. So anyways, I'm just so excited for those that took advantage and got medals or got their 401ks transferred over. I was just telling producer Ron, boy, would I be interested to see some people's statements and stuff with all this going on. Very excited and I'm just hoping and praying that some of my viewers listened and are getting to take advantage of what's going on right now. I'm just praying that some of y'all listened and gave Mike Fulgens and his team just a call. I'm just hoping. So I just want to see everybody win. Okay, Nick Shirley, big fraud. Okay, so there's really two frauds going on in Minnesota from what I can tell. So there's the whole thing about healthcare, and then there's this whole thing about the daycare centers. So just in case you're not aware of this, and Nick Shirley's like a 21-year-old kid, and he has been able to get this attention on this situation, which is so amazing. But he goes to this building and he starts showing all of the signs on the doors in the building. And so let's take a look at this. So Nick Shirley, fraud exposure. Let's take a look.
A list of all of the healthcare companies. Loads of them right here. We want healthcare.
No, it's okay.
Yes, we'd like to speak about getting healthcare here.
No.
Why can't I get healthcare here?
No, wait.
Warning, you are under video surveillance. No trespassing, security armed. This is the strangest place I've ever been to get healthcare. Just a bunch of different places. Healthcare here, healthcare right here. Another healthcare company right here. There are 3 healthcare companies inside of this building right here in this room of 7C. Now we have another Helping Hands, Home Care LLC, another healthcare company. Present Help right here. We're looking for the best rates of healthcare here inside this building because we have so many options. Who can we talk to about getting the best healthcare?
I don't know.
No?
Sorry.
All right. We will not get any healthcare here. David, this is one of the stranger places I've ever been. Literally, healthcare every door you go to, yet nobody will give you a rate. How much money do you think has been funneled through this building?
Every year, I would say 50 to 60 million at least.
And finally, we were accepted into one of the daycare centers and they actually took down our information to give us a rate. However, when we left, we were then met with the police.
We received a complaint that gentlemen matching your description were in this building harassing the individuals who stay here.
Oh, we're checking out the rates for healthcare. Because there's 14 healthcare companies inside this building, so.
Okay.
Well, that's not what he said. He said there's 14 companies here, and he's trying to assume because they're Somali providers, everyone here is fraudulent.
Okay. So
he's here with some kind of like propaganda.
So no, we're just checking.
No, this is a area that we're allowed to enforce trespassing ordinance. Is there any other reason that you guys are here?
Well, we were checking rates.
No, he's not.
We were checking rates. We asked for rates.
No, you're not.
Okay. if you guys are all good, we're gonna step outside and we can continue this conversation.
All right, let's leave. So, all right, we're getting escorted out right now. The police have arrived. We were checking out the rates, seeing what was happening inside this building. No one would really speak with us. We did go inside the one daycare center, and she actually did give us rates for childcare. Much respect to that lady. What's the problem, officer?
Well, so again, we've been getting reports from multiple individuals that you guys were harassing individuals who work here. At the end of the day, this is private property, and it's one that people are allowed to ask you to leave, and it's also one the Minneapolis Police Department is allowed to enforce trespassing ordinance at this address.
Yeah.
So
as we got escorted out of this building, the Somalis filmed us as we left, and we headed over to the next building that had 22 of the same home health care providers operating from inside of the building.
Right here you have.
Okay, so we see that, right? Okay, then we have where Tim Walz has announced, who is the governor. He has announced he's not running for re-election. President Trump, a few hours ago, as you can see here, he has responded, says Minnesota's corrupt governor will possibly leave office before his term is up, but in any event will not be running again because he was caught red-handed along with Ilhan Omar and others of his Somali friends stealing tens of billions of taxpayer dollars. I feel certain the facts will come out and they will reveal a seriously unscrupulous and rich group of slime balls. I love it. Okay. Governor Walz has destroyed the state of Minnesota, but others like Governor Gavin Newsom, J.B. Pritzker, and Kathy Hochul have done, in my opinion, an even more dishonest and incompetent job. No one is above the law. Okay, so that's today. So that's happened. Now, I want to show you something. This whole thing with Nick Shirley is not breaking news, okay? And so we have a guy who, there was a video, his name is Steve Halicki. He's a former fraud investigator. He worked in the same state, okay? And so he, 2015 fraud whistleblower, he was fired exposing daycare center fraud. Okay, this is about a 5-minute long video. This is a little bit longer. There's a shorter version going around a little bit. So if you see one, it may not be this one because this version of it is the full video. So take a look at this one.
How significant is this problem?
Massive.
Steve Halicki spent 15 years as a welfare fraud investigator for Hennepin County. He came to us to grind an axe.
They don't want a fraud unit to do anything. They want a fraud unit on paper.
Halicki was fired in 2013 while in the midst of a big investigation. The county claims he was an insubordinate bully whose tactics were hampering efforts to catch welfare cheats.
They don't want to point fingers at various organizations and people. This is nothing but a giant cover-up. You're driving down the street, you have no idea.
Halicki contacted the Fox 9 investigators after seeing our series of reports on Deco daycare centers. We uncovered evidence the company was collecting millions in public subsidies for providing bogus child care services to low-income families.
In essence, this scheme was really involved creating a criminal enterprise.
In December, Ramsey County charged Deco's owner with fraud.
The daycares that I'm going to be showing you from this point on all bill over $100,000 a month.
Halicki says before he was fired, he was tracking a similar scheme in Hennepin County involving multiple child care centers. He offered to take us on a driving tour to show what he'd uncovered.
What does this one say on the door?
7 a.m. to 6 p.m. There are no lights on.
This building is housing its third daycare center in as many years.
They just got a new license.
The two previous daycares had their public subsidies stopped by the county because of billing irregularities.
Hour after hour, I would sit here and document nothing.
Halicki discovered one center was charging the county for kids who were never dropped off.
See those double doors over there?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a daycare center. You wouldn't know it from this.
He took us to center after center that had no sign outside to indicate it was a daycare. When we knocked on the doors during posted business hours, no one answered.
If you're driving down the street, would you even know this was a daycare center?
Probably not.
Yet each location has a state license to operate,
But there's nobody in there right now.
and is eligible to collect child care subsidies to serve low-income families.
I mean, that's blacked out up there, so you can't even tell when the lights are on or off.
Exactly.
Why would they do that?
So you can't prove when they're working and when they're not. You could be billing till 11 o'clock at night, but they've gone home, 6 hours earlier.
Each of the centers he took us to had their windows mysteriously covered.
Why block them off? What are you afraid of? The truth?
Protect kids' identities?
Okay, then why don't the legitimate daycares block them off?
Just because they look suspicious doesn't mean they're up to no good. So we checked state inspection records for each of the centers on Halicki's tour. They've all been cited for licensing violations, the kind that are red flags to the state's Department of Human Services.
This is a cover-up. This is a deliberate attempt by the officials in Hennepin County to deceive the taxpayers. I have emails, I have documents, I have everything to prove they knew, and they looked the other way.
Here's an email he sent to the supervisor of the fraud unit. The goal was to stop the bleeding as quickly as possible and protect taxpayer money from going out the door. Now you want to stop the process? I know you're motivated and rightly concerned, she responds. Let's get a plan together to tackle these centers.
I don't think we would ever intentionally try to deceive the public.
County officials say they take all cases of alleged daycare fraud seriously.
He says they don't want to point fingers at various organizations and people. This is nothing but a giant cover-up.
Our focus is really primarily on prevention, but certainly we investigate and take action and work with our county attorney's office whenever there is actual fraud that has occurred.
In the 2 years since Halicki was fired, not one case has been prosecuted by the county. We found most counties in the metro aren't investigating daycare center fraud. They're handing those cases off to a special team with the Department of Human Services that ramped up more than a year ago.
Public's wondering, what's taking you guys so long?
Nobody is more frustrated with the amount of time it's taking than we are. We really want to get through these and get some of these completed.
We're told the state has nearly a dozen active investigations underway. Steve Halicki believes there are probably a lot more to pursue.
This cannot go on. We need to stop this immediately.
Halicki says he's going public with this information because he wants to clear his name. He did appeal his firing from the Hennepin County Fraud Unit, but an arbitrator upheld the county's decision to let him go. I'm Fox 9 investigator Jeff Bellion.
Okay, so there you go. And that's 10 years ago. He was a 2015 fraud whistleblower. This has been going on for a long time. Okay, KM Sunshine says that officer said that building was private property. It's a business with health care and daycare centers. Of course, they can't even spell the learning. Remember the learning center? I don't know if y'all know about that, but there was a sign on the building. They didn't even spell learning properly or correctly. Yeah, he says there's some kind of an ordinance or something. It sounded like there's something special about that building where they can do that. Of course, I'm not surprised. You know how that goes. Ted Gray in one says, although I don't understand everything that Trump does, what I do know is never before have we ever had all of this corruption information made available. Plus, he woke up the world on the fake news. He woke up the world on a lot of things. But yes, fake news is definitely one that he was able to really kind of, put shine such a bright light on it that people finally realized. I mean, something like that even, it takes just over and over realizing he did that. He did such a great job. And fake news. You have to do that for people. And that's one of the things I've realized. And look, cognitive dissonance is a really big thing. And so we have to realize, that's an issue. R.L. Wood says, my great nephew is 22 and he is awake. He grinned so big and agreed when I admitted to wearing a tinfoil hat. I love it. Rocky 2000 said, was that Trump video from today? Yes, about the that's breaking news actually in the last few hours. And so talking about the crypto, that's why crypto's up so much. Okay, now producer Ron found the video I was referring to from New Year's Eve, President Trump and Melania coming out at their party and there she is in the silver dress. Do you have the video, producer Ron, where we can hear, he comes out to the Lone Ranger video theme song. And so you can hear it in the background. Okay. So he didn't have the video. He's working on that. He said, let me see. Okay. Now, I'm very excited about this. So during the slowing of the spread, Dr. Scott Jensen, are y'all familiar with him? So coincidentally, he's out of Minnesota as well. He ran for governor. He lost, which of course, because the cheating, of course he lost. And so, but guess who has announced his run for the Minnesota governor position? And now we know Walz is not going to be running for re-election. We'll see who they put in that place, but he's got a video out. I've pulled it from X and sent it over to producer Ron asking for that to be played today. So Ron's got it ready for us. Let's take a listen to Dr. Scott Jensen's video, his kind of, candidacy video that he's got playing now. Let's take a look.
I'm Dr. Scott Jensen, and I grew up in a town just like this, Sleepy Eye, Minnesota. Mom would tell me to go out and play and come back when the whistle blows. Dad's office was on Main Street next to the bakery. There was a hardware store and a lumber yard. You could make a decent living, afford what you needed, and trust your neighbors. We can bring that back. If you work hard on the farm or at the mine, up in an office or down at the bar, I think you should have the dignity of a decent living. You should be able to afford what you need, work, save, and buy a house. Because Minnesota is for families who want to build it. And America is for Americans who want to love it. 2 decades of liberal policies have made Minnesota too expensive, too dangerous, and thrown our culture out of whack. Tim Walz made it worse. A leader must take responsibility. Tim Walz didn't, and so he shouldn't be governor. Every day, I pay my employees. Every day, I pray for my patients. When I make mistakes, I take responsibility. I miss that town whistle, but we can't roll back the clock. But lower prices, law and order, standing up for what's right. We can bring that back. I'm Scott Jensen. I'm running for governor to bring our Minnesota back.
I love it. I hope he wins. I watched him during the slowing of the spread day after day, fighting while they were coming after him for him speaking the truth about the shot and what was going on and just looking at the facts. And so I'm pulling for him, and really, I'm hoping Minnesota's best days are ahead of them. All right, the next one I wanted to show you. Love this. So there's just so much going on. Right now I'm watching a movie. I don't recall the name of the movie. We didn't finish it last night because I got tired. And so, and I'm well known in the house for falling asleep during a 1-hour show. So we're going to finish the movie tonight. I'll get the name of the movie for you. But the movie I'm watching reminds me of this story of Marco Rubio explaining and really shedding a light on NGOs and how they work. So let's take a listen to him, and then I'll tell you about the movie I'm watching. Let's listen up here.
The United States has spent billions of dollars over the years in helping with health strategies all across the world. What we learned over time, and especially after coming here, is that oftentimes, and I'm oversimplifying it, but this is an accurate description, what would happen is we would go to a country and say, we're going to help you with your health care needs. Then we would drive over to Northern Virginia somewhere, find an NGO, one of these organizations, give them all the money, tell them go to this country and do their health care program for them. That NGO would then take about some percentage of that money for their overhead and administrative costs. And by the time it got down to it, the host country had very little influence. It was sort of imposed on them. And only a percentage of the overall money ever actually reached the patients and the people on the ground that we were trying to help because of these costs. This makes no sense. So why are we hiring American and international NGOs to go into other countries and run healthcare systems that are parallel and sometimes in conflict with the healthcare systems of the host country? If we're trying to help countries, help the country. Don't help the NGO to go in and find a new line of business. And so that's what the model that we're breaking. We're not doing this anymore. We are not going to spend billions of dollars funding the NGO industrial complex while close and important partners like Kenya are either have no role to play or have very little influence over how healthcare money is being spent. Bottom line is, if you want to help a country, work with that country.
Yeah, lots of stuff going on there. So the movie I'm watching right now, the guy gets a job as a diplomat, and he ends up finding out, and it has to do with like the food program in Iraq. This is while Saddam Hussein was still in charge there, in control. It was before all of that happens. And it's right before it. And so it's like dollars for food, or I forget what the name of the program is, but this guy, the movie is based on a true story. And the guy quickly finds out that the man that he's working for, the diplomat and everything for the United States with this program, he quickly finds out that this guy's on the take as well, that it's just so much corruption and people are taking from this program. I mean, where's the shocker, right? But anyways, and so it's such a convoluted mess, a lot of people getting killed and people that, it's really got some shockers in there. But I'll look and see what the name of the movie is and share it tomorrow for you. But because we're going to be finishing that movie tonight. But I thought it was interesting, and it reminded me of this whole NGO thing. So I wanted to tell you about it. I saw someone a little while ago in the chat had mentioned something about Fetterman. So, Fetterman, saying that, oh, he's doing such a great job. And I had even Mike Fulgen said something this morning about Fetterman and that he wasn't going to make any more jokes about the way that he dresses in his hoodie, because here he is. He's actually speaking and telling the truth. I'm just saying, some of these people look really different, and Fetterman is definitely one of those. But during the break, I saw this side-by-side of Alex Jones, and I just thought I'd share it with you. I don't know. I mean, even his eyes look different. It's crazy. And so I don't, this side of heaven, we may never know what the truth is and what's really going on, but that is not looking like the same person. I get that people, they change, their face can change and whatever, but I'm just saying those eyes look completely different to me. I don't know. What do you think? I'd be interested to hear what everybody else thinks, but at the end of the day, I don't know that it really matters, but I thought I would show it to you, just kind of put things in perspective. We've been talking about the shot as well. Of course, here at the Michelle Moore Show, we talk a lot about health-related topics. I get so many emails and so many things from people that are needing help all the time, even today already. And they're fighting cancer. They're fighting different things that's going on. Side effects from the shot, just different things. Well, did you hear about Scarlett Durden? So she was a 16-year-old who, after opening Christmas presents on Christmas morning with her family, she collapsed and she died. She's only 16 years old. And so it just makes me wonder, like, do y'all wonder this too? Like, every time something like this comes up, I'm like, did she get the shot? Did she get the shot? Like, do y'all do that too? I do that. I've gotten to that point where is it vaccine stuff? Is it, so I was wondering if everybody else does that as well. Okay. So I have a couple of things for you that I want to show you kind of in that vein. I love sharing success stories, as you know, especially for people that have been diagnosed with the big C word. And so look at this man's testimony. Listen to how he went from 3 months to live to being cancer-free. Let's take a look.
Doctors gave me 3 months to live because of widespread metastatic cancer in my skeletal structure. 3 months. 3 different doctors told me that same thing.
Then Fred heard about a low-sugar diet called the ketogenic diet, believed to slow cancer in some people. With nothing to lose, he gave it a try, and to his astonishment, it worked.
And the cancer was gone. Completely.
The ketogenic diet means no sugar and no starchy carbohydrates like bread and pasta that convert to sugar. Cancer cells love sugar and starch because cancer thrives on the glucose from those foods. Remove the glucose and starve the cancer cells. Glucose also fuels our healthy cells, but if it's not there, those cells can switch to an alternate fuel source called ketone bodies. Cancer cells only run on glucose.
Your normal cells have the metabolic flexibility to adapt from using glucose to using ketone bodies, but cancer cells lack this metabolic flexibility, so we can exploit that.
All right, did you hear that? That's pretty good. So your diet makes all the difference, right? So then, I guess it was last night, this morning, I don't remember exactly when I saw this, but it stood out to me, knowing what I've been talking about Steve Jarvis with, about the whole, the pyramid, the food pyramid, and all that kind of stuff that we've been talking about here on the show. And how he's been kind of educating us also on the fact that, like, when a farmer takes their cow and to a packaging place, how they get $0 for the fat, which just blows my mind. So, okay, let's look at this image. This is from an account called Carnivore Diet or Carnivore Dude. And he says, ribeye is food. It says, ribeye is still the king, the cleanest protein, the richest fuel, and the most misunderstood cut thanks to decades of low-fat propaganda. Food pyramid much? Fat trimmings are fuel. Salads are decoration. Interesting. By the way, and if you eat a lot of salads, you need to do a detox because, the obvious parasites. And we all know grains and sodas were the real problem the whole time. Nothing beats keeping it simple. Meat first, something else optional. Who else can eat ribeye every day and feel incredible? So very interesting. This is right in line with what we're hearing about the food pyramid. And then this is also right in line with what this gentleman just shared about. So I thought I've got to make sure that you know about this. This is really good information. So, do with it as you would like. Okay, so producer Ron says he found the video to them walking out, and you can hear it in the background. Let's take a look. There you go. All right, let's keep going. So, did you hear the story during the break about the IRS using AI? Let's take a listen to this one.
What we have learned is that the IRS, in fact, has been using AI to access bank accounts of American citizens without any kind of a search warrant or even without any specific claim that they have committed a crime. So this was something that was discovered by an undercover journalist, and what they found is that the IRS has claimed that they have access to every single person's bank account. This person also indicated that they've been working with the Department of Justice and that they have absolutely no problem whatsoever going after the little guy to make sure that they are paying their taxes. This is such a blatant violation of the Fourth Amendment that Jim Jordan and I sent a letter to the IRS demanding that they provide additional information about what they are doing with AI and what they are doing to protect the civil rights of American citizens.
So, Congresswoman, what's the end game here? Because at the end of the day, you can't put the AI genie back in the bottle, and it's so easy to use these technologies in the way that you're suspecting the IRS is. How do you protect American citizens and our constitutional rights?
Well, one of the things is we need a new administration in November, because this administration has been absolutely lawless in terms of its surveillance of us, of members of Congress, of local officials, of people who are protesters, of voters. This administration has completely ignored the Bill of Rights, whether it's the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment. They have weaponized the government against us.
Okay, very interesting information. What is the new year? Let's take a look at this video.
So January is not the real New Year's. The Bible says, "This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you." The month that it's talking about is the month of Abib. And how do we know that? Because in another chapter it says, "Observe the month of Abib and keep the Passover unto the Lord thy God. For in the month of Abib, the Lord thy God brought thee forth out of Egypt by night." So coming back to this first verse that I read, the verse above it is talking about how Moses and Aaron came out of the land of Egypt. And just to give you the context, this whole chapter is talking about the Passover and when God brought them out of Egypt. And it all happened in the month of Abib. And even when you Google it, it'll tell you that the month of Abib is in the month of March or April. And it means ear of corn or green ears of grain. So it's in the springtime, which is the rebirth time. Everything dies in the winter time and then everything starts to grow back in the springtime. It's the rebirth. But I guess the reason why they want us celebrating the New Year's in January is because there's a pagan god that goes by the name of Janus, which, the month of January is named after this god. And they want us worshiping this god without us even knowing it. So when we are celebrating the New Year's in January, we are actually worshiping this god by the name of Janus.
Okay. According to the Bible, what year are we in? Let's take a look.
This is a standard Holy Bible. It has the Old Testament, the New Testament, and the Apocrypha. It was made in 1818. From Adam unto Christ are 3,974 years, 6 months, and 10 days. And from the birth of Christ unto this present year is 1815. Then the whole sum and number of years from the beginning of the world unto this present year of our Lord God 1815 are 5,789 years, 6 months, and the said odd 10 days. And it lists the creation date 4004 BC. Here's my 1863 Cassell Publishing House Bible. And again, right at the front, the creation date is 4004 BC. 4004 BC, the date of creation, to the year that they were writing or editing the Bible, 1815, was 5,789 years, 6 months, and 10 days. And since then, it's been 211 years. 2026 is the 6,000th year.
Okay. I think that's important. KM Langer says, I live in Minnesota, left the cities, and we are in the northwestern part of the state. Please pray for us. I love Scott Jensen. He would be a great governor. I think so too. I'm really excited to see that. I'm believing he's going to win. Diana says, I had quite a surprise when I refilled a prescription and the price went from over $200 to $15. She says, Trump did it. That's awesome. I just want to remind you that I have said this over and over, and I'm going to say it again, and that is I believe our best days are ahead of us. I have not given up on President Trump. I think every day there's so many good things that are coming. I think maybe potentially I suspect that 2025 was maybe a time of setting some things up, and let's see what 2026 looks like. I'm very optimistic and hopeful. And so let's see. Nat Beach says, I know who Nat Beach is. I wish we had a true biblical calendar. The Roman calendar nor the Jewish calendars are biblical. Yeah, I'm wondering that too. Thank you so much. All right. Well, I hope that you've enjoyed today's show. I'm so glad we're back together, and we'll be back tomorrow. Got a big day tomorrow. We're going to be listening to what Mike Fulgens has to say about silver and what's going on with the metals just in general. He says there's a lot going on, and I'm going to be interested to hear what he says, because I'm wondering from his perspective, are there some things going on that we wouldn't even see or hear about when listening to the news or just even on social media in general? So looking forward to him being here tomorrow. We'll see you right here next time on the Michelle Moore Show. Hi, friends. It's Michelle Moore. And when it comes to protecting your retirement, I believe in taking smart, steady steps. Bank of America analysts call gold the ultimate safe haven, and when it comes to precious metals, I trust Universal Coin and Bullion, the official rare coin and bullion dealer of my show. They have been named the best in their industry both nationally and regionally by leading organizations. Consider a gold IRA, a time-tested way to diversify your portfolio with real tangible assets, which lets you move a portion of your retirement savings into physical gold, helping protect your wealth from inflation, market swings, and economic uncertainty. And Universal Coin and Bullion makes the process easy. From rollovers to delivery, they walk you through every step, even if you have one with another gold company. Protect what you've worked so hard to build from the team that I trust, Universal Coin and Bullion, at 800-321-8700, and make sure to tell them Michelle sent you.
Hi, I'm Linda Bamber Olson, the inventor of the Wave Watch, the world's first frequency therapy watch. It features over 1,100 targeted frequencies combined into 150 playlists for ease of use. These sounds are acoustical and they move through your body, through your skin and your bones. You don't necessarily have to hear it. As each frequency goes through, it can be realigning, revitalizing, reconnecting, and even rebalancing your body all the way to the cellular level. So that's why we have so many testimonies for aches, ADD and ADHD, allergies, colds and flu, dental, emotions, headaches, joints, kidney stones, nerves, organs, skin health, swelling, tremors, vagus nerve, and so many more. Use this code for $100 off when you purchase the Wave Watch. Thanks for learning about frequencies, using them, and supporting the Wave Watch.
There aren't a lot of reasons to use Godly Granny products. There's every reason, because every time you twist or flip a cap on something from Godly Granny, you're voting no to chemicals and yes to common sense, but without all the electronic voting machines. With Godly Granny, there's no toxins, no chemicals, no endocrine disruptors, no cancer-chasing filler. Godly Granny is a small batch, made-to-order, deeply naturopathic wellness brand. Founded on biblical truth, formulated with pure purpose, and handcrafted by saved folks who know that freedom doesn't come from fake lavender and phthalates. Go to godlygranny.com today. Be sure and use the discount code Michelle10 at checkout to receive 10% off your entire order.
For Michelle's social media links, go to MichelleMooreShow.com.